I mean, the Leica M11 had 64 gigs, and the M11P they upped it to 256.
You sound good.
Really?
Yeah, you do.
Oh,
Nice. Marques, thank you.
What are you saying about all the other digs?
Hell yeah. You usually sound like kind of mid.
damn.
Hey, what is up, people of the internet? Welcome back to another episode of the Waveform podcast. We're your hosts. I'm Marques.
I'm Andrew.
And I'm David.
So, in this week's episode, we've got 2 new cameras that I'm not going to buy. I'm definitely not going to buy them. I don't need them. Apple invites also went out. Taylor Swift got engaged. And
Wow.
we've got some final thoughts on the Pixel 10s.
I'm surprised you want to talk about the Taylor Swift engagement.
It's just kind of one of the news stories of the week,
Yeah.
you know?
And
it would
I'm
be
Ron
weird if we
Burgundy.
didn't. It would be weird if we didn't.
Andrew put it in the script to see if Marques would say it.
It's just one of those things. It's in every company Slack. I promise.
Didn't you say Verge did an article about which social media platform benefited the most
Yeah.
from the post?
There was an Instagram post. That's where most people saw it. There was a Threads post. So the Fediverse got some love. There was no Twitter post.
Well, she's probably not federated.
Something to think about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But actually, first,
Yeah. First, actually,
okay, this got passed around our company Slack, and I guess it was on the internet a little. I know David hasn't seen it yet. I'm not sure if everyone has, but apparently there's a French dub on one of our old videos, and it is bad. Is the best way of putting it.
Broken.
Hilariously bad. Broken.
yeah.
Ellis, did you hear it? Miles, you heard it, right? Okay.
Oh, this is
Can
good.
you play this clip?
I can.
Okay. This is Miles and David are hearing this for the first time.
Okay.
Avoir une capacité globale de la batterie légèrement inférieure.
I don't know. This is like a 3-year-old video.
What I thought that sounded like.
So what happens is, like, years ago, I mean, this is still true, but when we get a video dubbed in a different language, it is a downloadable audio track that we download and then upload for each language. So they might have 4 or 5 languages per video, and then we upload them.
Yeah.
And then, you know, it is what it is. This is a much older video from years ago that we, like, retroactively
That's what I think it was.
decided to get dubbed.
I think it's 3 years old, and I believe it was a company we were testing in the past. We did some older videos to test it
Yeah.
on. Missed that completely. It's not the company we use anymore. This is actually a human dub, not an AI one. So I think it's a human, and somehow the microphone he was using or how they exported it is just, I can't even begin to describe how it could potentially get to that
It kind of
point.
seems on purpose. Like, if I was a human and I was like, I wonder if anybody's really listening to these, I would just make up French sounds and I would have the microphone as far into my mouth as possible.
Gaming
And that's-
headset during an earthquake. Like,
Yeah.
Have you seen the top comment?
I have not.
It just says, "Unk having a blast."
Yeah, I don't know how people found this, but eventually people did find this. And yeah, we took it down because obviously it's not a good dub. But yeah,
No.
that was, sorry about that, France.
But also,
Our bad.
that was hilarious.
But that was pretty funny.
Wow. Okay.
First camera that I'm not going to buy. I'm not going to buy it. I don't need it. I definitely don't need
Cue the
it.
SpongeBob meme.
Because, yeah, that one ends with I need it. But it's the Hasselblad X2D Mark II.
Yeah.
So I've reviewed 1 or 2 of these X1D and X2D Hasselblads in the past.
Yeah.
I really like them. I obviously don't need them, but they're just one of those things where, like, you know how, you know, you guys shoot film, Tim shoots film, you guys kind of will go out and, like, leisurely shoot a couple things just because it's a hobby that you have. That was me when I had the X1D. I was just like, these are not photos that I need. I'm not, like, going on vacation or taking photos of pets and kids. It's just like, I just want to take some pictures. And the X1D was awesome for that. And it was notably slow, clunky, big, heavy, like had lots of downsides, but the process and the files that came out of it were very satisfying.
And the build quality on these cameras is just like every camera you get, there's some part that like rattles or like sounds kind of hollowy plastic.
Not
I
the
mean,
Hasselblad.
you've used a lot of really nice ones, so I'm
Yes.
sure you've used plenty of other ones that aren't
Yeah.
like that. But man, Nothing about this is like
They are the best built.
And it's really
cameras,
cool
for
that they
sure.
were able to put all of that build quality into like such an economical, cheap package, right?
it's
that's-
still
look-
impressive.
look,
at
okay.
7,000.
It's just 7,000.
It's still
So
crazy.
It's cheaper than the last one.
Yeah, this is the thing. In the past, like I did enjoy using these very impractical, clunky, heavy cameras, and they were super expensive. It would be like $7 or $8 for just the body, and then another $4,500 for each lens, and they'd be primes, so you'd need 2 or 3 lenses. And it was obviously just like a horribly expensive hobby that I should not have gotten into, but I did. Fast forward to a couple generations later, X1D, then X1D Mark II, X2D. This one, it's still medium format, still 100 megapixels. It's up to 15.3 stops of dynamic range. They will take true HDR images. It also has a tilting OLED EVF, which gets up to like 1900 nits or something. It's like a really, really nice screen. And
OVF.
I thought it was-
Or, sorry, the screen, right?
The screen.
The
I thought it was
not the OVF.
3,000 nits.
either way, it's a great responsive touchscreen, which they've done really well in the past.
Yep.
Has continuous autofocus. I'm not so sure about the LiDAR. I want to watch some reviews, but it has LiDAR for autofocus. And it has 10-stop 5-axis in-body image stabilization.
Yeah.
So
Which is ridiculous,
that is,
especially on a medium format sensor.
it's hard to explain how awesome that is, especially for shooting. Like this is a slow camera, but you still don't want to have to put it on a tripod every single time. Like being able to shoot handheld is a really big deal.
Yeah.
And 10 stops of IBIS
Yeah.
is pretty unheard of in any camera. I haven't seen that in like R5 level cameras, let
Yeah.
alone like a medium format
No,
sensor.
it's ridiculous. I one of my friends, Casey Kavanaugh, GX Ace on YouTube, sent me a photo, 3.6 second handheld photo at night, and it was sharp as heck. And like
So crazy.
that on a medium format sensor that's 100 megapixels is really crazy, right?
Yeah.
Like you usually do not see that kind of tech in this kind of camera, and they also added the LiDAR autofocus, which is really awesome because their autofocus has been bad traditionally, and they lowered the price. It's like it's kind of nuts. 10 stops of IBIS though, you can do water on a waterfall being all like silky and smooth and stuff. Traditionally, like the bigger the sensor size you go, the more you have to shoot it like film. Because it's gonna have worse stabilization. It's gonna have, if it's higher resolution, then you see micro shake more, all this stuff. But they kind of like fixed all of these problems in this camera.
Yeah.
I know very little about cameras, but 3 seconds handheld
Yeah, 3.5 seconds.
I think
makes
anyone can
no
appreciate.
sense.
That's crazy.
Like
Yeah.
that is insane. Like I was,
yeah,
there's times where I have a camera, I'm like, damn, I wish I could go to like 1/30 right now handheld and like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
tenth of a second's kind
Be
of pushing
okay.
it.
Yeah,
And you're like,
like-
wow.
Yeah.
A whole second. But 3 seconds is insane.
Also, the true HDR is very interesting because this is the first camera to have true HDR. We've seen like HDR in cameras before, but the way that that's done it is more of just the way that smartphones have generally done it, where they do image stacking and they kind of like crush the tone curve to make it all a mid-tone. This one it elevates the peak, like the highlights, so that they get brighter. So they get physically brighter. And the screen on the back of this camera is HDR compatible. So when you take those images, you can see the detail in that, but it's brighter. And if you put it on a compatible screen like a MacBook Pro, you'll be able to actually see all that information.
Yeah.
Which is cool because traditionally, like that kind of HDR has been very limited to smartphones. And usually if you're taking photos like that on your smartphone, you don't want to view them on your computer and just like kind of, it just looks weird having it be that bright and everything. And especially this kind of camera, being in a RAW file, you can manipulate the shadows so that they're not like jacked up, but you can still see a little bit of detail, but it's not just a mid-tone.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's
making
very
sure
good.
he's not clicking the buy button
I'm
as
not.
you're talking.
I closed the tab. I closed the B&H tab.
Yeah.
You also are right, 1400 nits on the screen. My
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah. And also another thing I want to bring up, this camera's cheaper than the last generation
by like $800.
by like $800, which is crazy because every other camera company right now is raising the prices of their camera. Fujifilm raised the prices of all of their cameras once, and the rumor is they're going to do it again. This is all because of tariffs. And I think because DJI owns Hasselblad. So I think what they're doing is that they're trying to undercut the market, especially the medium format market, because Fujifilm had to raise the price of their GFX cameras, which have traditionally been the like affordable medium format by quite a bit, to the point where this is cheaper than Fujifilm's GFX 100 Mark II, which is kind of unbelievable because the build quality of this is better. It's got LiDAR now.
Has
it's
a
got 10 stops
terabyte of built-in
terabyte
storage.
of built-in storage. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. The lens is very expensive. It's $4,600 just for
Yeah.
the new lens that
That's
they.
The lens
more
is
than my
interesting, though.
R5.
Yeah.
Yeah, the lens is super expensive. It's a
Yeah.
35 to 100, but on medium format, it's
Yeah.
like roughly the equivalent of a 24 to 70,
Yeah.
and it's f2.8 to f4. So f2.8 at medium format
is very shallow.
pretty sick.
It's like
You're not going to
1.7.
ever, you're probably not going to shoot at 2.8.
They also call it compact,
That part
which is
kinda
why I
funny.
put a picture right under that part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll say they reached out to me about this camera many months ago, like in March.
Yeah.
And I signed an NDA about it. And then they said, we'd love to get into your hands. And in exchange, we will give you the camera. In exchange for the review, we will give you the camera. And then I said, I don't do that. And then they ghosted me. So that's the second time Hasselblad's done that to me, which sucks. But, the sad part about that is that from everything I've seen from people that I do very much trust, everything about this camera is incredible.
It seems to be. I mean, I was just scrolling through like headlines. I haven't watched any of the videos yet, but just the headlines for people's reviews of like, this is peak medium format, like Hasselblad finally did it. It's a good deal at this price, like all these amazing headlines. So it seems like objectively a pretty great camera.
I mean, again, like the Fuji GFX 100 Mark II, I still really like that camera, but it is quite a bit slower than this now. This has better image stabilization. It has the HDR, all of these things, and now it's cheaper, which is wild. Like when the rest of the entire camera market is being jacked up in price, the fact that they could make this even lower prices is wild. So
Well, it's too bad, Hasselblad, because it's not going to work on me. I'm not going to buy one.
Just checking. I will check for the rest
He's
of the
definitely
episode.
on B&H.
Don't
When he
need
spaces
it.
out later, he's definitely buying.
don't.
Oh, Mark has that package just came. It's on your desk right now.
yeah.
I actually did open the B&H tab just to see. It ships mid-September.
The sample photos from this camera look
soon.
so
The sample
good.
photos,
They are
if
so good.
you're unconvinced and you're just listening to us talk about an amazing camera and build quality and blah blah, like that's all, maybe it doesn't speak to you, maybe you're not a big photographer, but check out these sample images and tell me you don't wish you could participate in an experience that has that sort of output.
Yeah.
So that's sick.
If you bought this camera, what do you think your shutter count would be on it after like a year of ownership?
Did we mention
a
Miles
good
was on the
question.
podcast?
Oh, hey, yeah.
Free
Miles
Adam
is on the
tilts
podcast.
backwards.
Adam's sick again.
That's a really good question. I think my shutter count would be something like, it would be under 1,000 for sure.
Total?
It would be under 1,000 photos.
How many is that per picture?
Until you just put it on the shelf.
No, I would love it, and I'm not gonna buy it, but if I did,
Right.
I would love it and
Right.
use it, and I would probably use it much more in the first few months of just like walking around with an excuse to just like shoot street photography or like shoot skylines or whatever, and then I would just occasionally bring it to like random events.
Does that mean that's $74 a photo?
Feels about right.
Right? Or am
That's,
I? No. I'm right in that, right?
That's about how much I pay for
1,000
1,000 photos,
for my
so
film.
$7,000. So it'd be $7 a photo.
Not too far off from what I pay for
I'm
my film
terrible
work.
at math.
$7 a photo. Still
Yeah.
not bad.
Yeah.
That's
like
not bad.
film
That's-
levels.
You're losing money if you don't.
Yeah. You don't understand scale. Also, the look is the medium format look on this is so insane. Like the micro contrast. Hasselblad has this special color profile that they call like Hasselblad True Color that they've had for like a really long time. And they don't do like the film simulations like all the other companies do, but they just have the one mode, and it's like Hasselblad True Color or whatever,
Why does it say top seller?
because people are buying it, dude.
Really?
Oh my
Oh,
goodness.
yeah.
Yeah, you better buy that fast.
You're saying if I don't buy it now, it's gonna get delayed?
That's
or something?
not what
That
I
might-
said, Marcus.
Is that what you're saying?
I did not say that. I said a lot of people are buying it.
Listen.
Anyway, their True Color thing looks really, really good, and the micro contrast is made. Everything about it is great.
On Hasselblad's website, it's sold.
Oh, I mean,
Oh, he's on
yeah,
B&H.
whatever.
Oh man, so I guess I probably should go to B&H.
Anyway,
if
I just wish they would let me review this without shilling for them.
Well, that's why you have to join the rest of us in.
Well, David, if any
bullying
of us,
Marquez
if
into
any of
buying
us
it,
are
so
able
it's
to
good.
get our hands on this camera somehow,
It's sold out on B&H too.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
I'm on B&H right
It's just not in stock
It's
yet.
not in stock yet.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's why he says
because it got
shipping in
announced
September.
yesterday. It's like not out.
I mean, you have to request a stock alert, which I feel like that you don't normally put on the pre.
You can literally
pre-sale item.
pre-order it and they'll ship it when it's ready.
Or B&H just put top seller because they want people to buy it.
Yeah,
Looking at Marquez's computer, he has it in his cart. He has the lens that costs more than my R5 Mark II in his cart.
Oh, you.
I haven't done anything about it yet. I'm just
Also-
saying, like, if you really, really wanted to review this camera, or maybe even if like we wanted to see what some of those photos look like,
Maybe a
and
shame
maybe
if you
like had an
sneezed
event in mid-September that we wanted to take it to.
Would we
or
have it
something.
by then?
No.
I don't know. Well, they won't.
It
Only
could,
one way
maybe.
to find out.
Fair enough.
Anyway,
Fair enough. Speaking of cameras, I guess I would have liked a better segue from that. But speaking of a camera that did increase the price, the Ricoh GR4 got announced a while ago and is officially coming out. Here's the lore behind the Ricoh series. Okay.
yeah.
So if you remember the Fujifilm X100V, it was the camera that blew the heck up on TikTok.
Yeah.
2 years after it got released, ironically. And then when the X106 came out, that camera has been practically impossible to get constantly. People went on social media with it because they knew that the X100V was popular. So they thought, oh, if I post photos with the X106 on social media, I'll get a lot of engagement. And then there's always a culture and a counterculture, right? So the culture at the time was, wow, look at my X100 photos. And then a counterculture always pops up with the like, here's the awesome alternative to the thing that's popular.
Sure.
So the Ricoh GR3 became the counterculture. The Ricoh GR3 is even smaller than the X100.
Yeah.
It is extremely pocketable, but it has a lot of compromises. Like it doesn't have an electronic viewfinder, which is really hard for me because I like viewfinders. It does not have a tiltable screen on the back. The screen on the back is really crappy and pretty low resolution. But it's one of those cameras that's like, it's truly a pocketable camera. Like it's so thin and so small that it can fit in your pocket. And the image quality, once you pull it off of the camera and put it on the computer, is really, really good.
I'm looking at it, by the way, on B&H. Also says top seller. But lots of pictures of
we
it
should
being put
compare
in
them.
pockets.
Yeah. So the GR3 became impossible to get. And then they came out with the high diffusion filter model that we talked about a few weeks ago.
Right. The grease on the lens model.
Yeah, grease on the lens model, the on the lens model. And that was very popular. Now they finally are announcing the GR4, and they jacked up the price by a lot. It is now $1,500. I had this whole thing I wanted to talk about with cameras where, like, we talked about the Sony camera that came out, the point and shoot Sony that came out a few weeks ago, and that camera is like $5,300. And everyone feels very shocked by the prices of these new things. Like, oh, these cameras are being so, these companies are being so greedy. When in reality, I think that it's just the new normal for tariffs on cameras, because all cameras have parts that are made in a lot of countries that are being heavily tariffed.
Yep.
And I think that that's probably a combination of why the GR4 is so expensive. And that's why it's so surprising that the Hasselblad is cheaper. I'm like,
Yeah. 'Cause
how did they
Hasselblad's
lower
not
the
made
price?
here? Yeah.
Yeah, well,
That's impressive.
yeah, they're assembled in Sweden, the Hasselblad cameras, so I assume Sweden's not tariffed as hard as other countries, but
What does GR stand for?
Oh, Gazoo Racing.
nice.
That's what I was looking for. Thank you.
I don't actually knew. Do you know?
Oh, let's check.
It just says that the essential values
I
of the
don't know if
GR
that's the one.
series.
It's probably like
I want this.
you should get
Well,
one. I mean, they're
I
great.
know,
They're
I
great.
know. I
The new
like-
one though, $1,500.
Yeah, I know. I was looking up used GR3s and the HDF version, and I was also looking up used like X100Vs.
Yeah,
and then
they're
I was
all
also
gonna be
looking up the
expensive.
like this a little different, but like the Sony A7C is like super pocketable.
Oh, yeah.
Also, like I like these pocketable.
Yeah.
Take them along with me, and like a little faster. So if I'm taking pictures of Lane or something, it's
Yeah.
like these seem really fun.
Yeah.
Canon R50V. It's like the non-EVF version of the R50.
Non-EVF.
$750.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Are there lenses that are like, because I got like a tiny pancake lens to match
Yeah.
the Ricoh.
Yeah. Yeah, the GR4 has a 26 megapixel APS-C sensor, which is the same resolution as last time. Redesigned lens with an f2.8 aperture, new autofocus, and 53 gigs of built-in storage. So it's really not that different from the GR3. I think they just kind of made it because there was insane demand for this kind of thing. So
It does say it has new 5-axis shake reduction that compensates for 6 stops of camera shake.
that's nice.
Six
up
stops?
from 3-axis last time, but it doesn't say
Okay.
how many stops.
Yeah,
So
it's pretty good.
Stops is a lot.
And for something that's quick, pocketable, and like you're probably never putting this on a tripod,
Yeah.
that sounds pretty solid.
Yeah.
$600 solid? I don't know about that. but-
$600 price increase. Yeah, that's a lot. $1,500 for a pocket camera is pretty insane. But here we are. Here we are.
I'm having like visions of making way more Instagram content if I had one of these cameras.
So I actually saw these cameras in person for the first time a couple of weeks ago because I didn't know they existed. And I was at B&H with some friends, and the build quality is, I don't know.
It doesn't look like it has a good build quality.
No.
Like, to be honest, like it looks kind of like it looks like a toy trying to look like a nice build quality.
And is that the appeal?
No, I assume that's just like the sacrifice you make when before it was cheaper.
Yeah, we have developed this spectrum of like cameras that people want. It's like you get the Hasselblad if you're like a fine art photographer, right? And then now people are buying digicams, which is like the old 2000s point and shoots that they're buying because it kind of gives the like quality of like 35 millimeter film in a way, but it's free. And you can find it at the thrift store for $5 sometimes. Now the ones that people were finding at the thrift store for $5 are like $300 on eBay.
Supply and demand, baby.
But this is sort of in between where it's like, it's not a bazillion dollars, but it's not $5, and it's like good image quality, but it's not fine art photography. So yeah, but it's pocketable. Anyway, fun to have some new camera stuff in the world.
I could not find what GR actually stands for but I did find a hilarious thread from 2017 on DP Review where someone like poses this question. They're like, what does the GR stand for in Ricoh GR? And someone says Gestalt Reisend, which is German. Gestalt is sort of means the sum, greater than the sum of its parts. It's not an exact translation, but that's sort of like the best one I can give you. And then Reisend is German for like cute, charming, beautiful. And then someone else replied, like, I highly doubt that's what GR stands for, considering that this is a Japanese company.
Yeah,
like, why would they choose a German acronym? And then a third guy hops in, and it's like, actually, it's not that crazy. Like, there's lots of German influence in Japanese technology, especially in like the camera sector, and like lists all these reasons why it might be possible. And then the original guy who said Gestalt Reisen was like, nah, I made that up.
Source, I made it up.
And then ChatGPT was like, source, this is true.
ChatGPT says great resource, which I'm likely to believe, but also I'm not because it's ChatGPT. So
My ChatGPT said, great Rico.
That is also in this forum, so it
the
might
Rico
actually be pulling from
Probably.
this
the
forum.
Rico, great Rico.
Some people are saying Grand Rico too, like some like Grand Seiko is like the fancy line of Seikos.
Well, speaking of cameras, again,
Nice.
Yeah. No, we actually do have
Too
one more
early.
to talk about.
have you guys ever heard of phone companies using fake images to hype their phone cameras?
You mean every single launch that has ever
You
happened?
mean how like a company will go, look at these images, they were shot on our phone, and then they weren't?
I know
You
it's
mean
hard
they
to
would
believe.
just
lie on the
they would
internet?
just lie? That's
Well,
crazy.
We have our newest installment of the most iconic duo of that.
Nice.
The Nothing Phone 3 demo. So apparently there are Nothing Phone 3 demo units. So these are, I'm assuming, demos at stores that people use before they. And in those demo units, there is a page on them that says, here's what our community has captured with the Phone 3, and then lists 5 pictures. Shocking surprise. No, all of those 5 pictures are stock photos that Nothing bought from a licensing website. And they found out because an anonymous source reached out to Android Authority first, I think, saying that was her picture showing the picture. And then since then, they've contacted some of the other photographers, and they are not. One was even shooting on a Fuji XH2, which is like a $3,000 camera.
Yeah. This seems like the easiest rabbit hole to get caught going down. Like someone just reverse Google image searches the links from your sample photos and goes, oh, this has existed online for 3 years. And then it's just on a licensing website.
Yeah. All of these photos were taken before the Nothing Phone 3 was announced. They were all from 2 years ago.
Yeah. Notably, an employee from Nothing, Akis, has
Co-founder
has explained his side of the story, basically, which is just that these were placeholder images that they needed to submit 4 months before launch, and they just forgot to replace them. I don't know why you would go to a licensing website and pay for photos taken professionally as placeholders. I don't know. I don't work for you. That's not a choice that I would make personally. Maybe just use other Nothing Phone images or something else. But the placeholders never got replaced, and oops, now people saw those images
You know,
instead.
in the video game industry, when you need a placeholder thing, you usually make it as obvious as possible to placeholder. Like it'll be neon purple and say something like missing texture.
Yeah.
So you think they would do something
Well,
like
CNET
that?
did something like this once where it was like a phone review, and I guess to show their camera people what kind of footage they wanted of the phone, they put Marques's footage in it,
Yeah.
and
Was
then
it
published
CNET?
the video. I thought it was CNET.
I think it might,
Maybe
yeah.
not,
It
but
probably was, yeah.
I don't want to throw him
one
under
of
the
those
bus if
giant,
it wasn't, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was kind of weird going to my sub box and starting to watch a review of a phone, and then it cuts
Having
to
all
a
your
hand
footage.
holding a phone in the studio. I'm like, I think that that's my hand.
Yeah.
And now that I'm watching this, yeah, that's my footage. And then I emailed them, and they were like, "Oh, it was a placeholder we wanted to give to our editors to replace later." crazy situation. But anyway,
I just thought it was also funny that his response was, he said new teams were involved. There's no clear reason to use this. This is a response to why don't you just use old nothing photos? So at least if you get caught, it was like something worse and not seeming as deceiving.
yeah.
Because they want to appear better.
Because they want to appear better.
be why.
And he also, in his original tweet, was like, everyone should post their nothing photos in here. And he then goes on to say, as you can see from the comment section, photos captured with Phone 3 are far more striking than those stock images,
Okay.
which
you bought.
which you bought and are also taken by professionals with professional cameras. So like,
Yeah.
it can be a good phone. You don't got to pretend that
Yeah.
your nothing phone is better than a Fuji X2 I don't even know what kind of camera.
XH2, yeah.
Are we
40
in,
megapixel.
in the era finally where there's no point in posting smartphone sample images and being like, because I feel like we sort of go through this every year with the smartphone camera test where it's like the differences are like so subtle. I guess what I'm trying to ask is, do you think we're entering a point where this is not actually a feature differentiator between flagship smartphones?
I do.
Like
I do
obviously
not
there's going to be
think
things
no.
like the Samsung has a big zoom lens
Yeah.
that other phones don't have, or like the iPhone has the camera button. Like there are these little tiny sort of things, but as far as image quality goes, like not usability but like image quality, are we past this?
So I think it's fair. I think there's two types of buyers. I think for a lot of buyers, we are past this. I think they're all pretty good. And I think a lot of them just kind of go, oh yeah, it's an expensive one, so it'll take good pictures. I think there is another more discerning buyer who still finds massive differences between a lot of these smartphone cameras. If you're looking to evaluate that sort of thing, you're like, you can tell a Samsung picture versus an iPhone picture versus a Pixel picture still to this day. And we'll talk more about the Pixel and its camera a little bit later. But if you watch my review, it's like kind of a big difference from some of the like. If you spend more on a phone to have a better camera, you would hope that it would have a specifically better camera, and it's kind of lacking in some of those ways. So I think there's a buyer that does still see a difference there.
I think it is. I think the blind smartphone challenge proved that most people don't give a damn. But I think when you're the person spending $7, $8, $9, $1,000 on a phone, you want to have every little thing that you really like to like tell yourself it was worth paying for that.
I sort of agree with you, Ellis, in that sort of thought process, because like we've reached the point where, I don't know, very few people are trying to use their phone as professional cameras, but they still care about the image quality. But it used to be that there were bigger gaps between the quality, so people would talk about the quality all the time. And now it's sort of just one of those things that's like most people just buy the new version of the phone they've always had. And so the people that maybe are thinking of getting something else, or, they want to justify their purchase, they're going to say they care about those things. Do they actually? I don't know.
And it's also, and this is like a rabbit hole we could go down forever, but like smartphone companies, in an attempt to explain that the camera quality of their phone is better, will always reference like, it's good enough for professionals. See, this professional uses it to do professional photo shoots. And even though that's usually not how professionals shoot, that is usually a pretty convincing argument for people.
Yeah.
But it also kind of feels like sports equipment, where it's like, okay,
Yeah.
they're professionals. They can probably get a good picture out of anything.
Right.
And between you and I, like, it doesn't matter what golf clubs I use. I'm never going to beat Tiger. I should just get better at the thing instead of using better equipment.
Yes.
Also,
So, yes.
I would make the argument that in most creative fields, like what makes gear truly professional gear is not necessarily like the total quality of media output. Like obviously that's important, but it's features that are really specific to doing it as a job. You know what I mean? Like
Redundancy.
Redundancy, or like a great example is like I know lots of people that do sports photography that specifically shoot on Sony for no reason other than the menus are quick and customizable and the burst mode goes crazy. You know what I mean? Like
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy burst.
But it's
and
like
Sony's autofocus is
but
very
it's
fast.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
But it's like
subject
it has
detection.
nothing to do with like I'm sure if they shot it on a Canon or a Nikon, they would not pull the pictures side by side and be like, these Sony colors, man, they're so much better. No, they're going like I can shoot 10 million photos with one burst.
Yeah.
And like
Job specific.
and that will make my job easier. And I think so. Whenever they make the argument like this is good enough for professionals, it's like no, it's not.
It's not what a professional would use over anything
like even if
else,
it did
right?
look as good, and the same is true with audio
Yeah.
gear and everything.
The statement, the choice of professionals would have a lot more weight than it's
Yeah.
good enough for professionals.
yeah, exactly.
The
It's a
audio
big
interface
distinction.
I have on my desk, I don't use it because it sounds significantly better than other audio interfaces. I use it because it has 2 headphone jacks on the front, and that saves me a lot of time. You know,
Yeah.
like that, and that's what makes it good for professionals, not the amazing converters in it or whatever.
Right.
Theoretically, smartphone companies should use pictures of everyday people taking amazing pictures of their kids and pets. And sometimes they do,
Yeah.
but a lot of times when you go to like the $8,000-$1,200 phones, they start to go, all right, what's the differentiator here?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the eyelashes on the leopard.
Yeah,
that you
like the
can see.
resolution is amazing. And it's like, well, I'm still going to be taking pictures of my kids and pets.
Which is why like this nothing thing really isn't that giant of a deal, because like every single camera manufacturer company ever, when they post the pictures, are unobtainable images to all of the people buying it because of the lighting and whatever. So this is just extra funny because it's literally not
Have
the
you
camera
seen
at all.
Have you ever watched an Apple keynote and looked at the photos that they share of
You're
like
not taking
shot on
those.
iPhone?
Yeah.
They're like in the middle of a desert with like perfect sunlighting and not a
Yeah.
cloud in the sky and like this beautiful even lighting, and you're like, I've never been in a place like that. I've never taken a photo.
But you know what I appreciate about those photos? They still have the distinctive like iPhone look where the
They do.
shadows are too jacked up, and you can see that it artificially lightened their face. Like you can tell it's an iPhone. It's like, okay, yeah, you went to a really nice environment, you gave it to a competent photographer, and this is a pretty acceptable, like pretty good photo.
Yeah.
But I know that it's an iPhone picture.
Yeah,
It's
and it'll be
obvious.
like staged models with colorful clothing
Yeah.
and like beautiful background, and you're like, oh, I can tell it's on a phone. That's a pretty good shot though.
yeah, exactly.
Like, all right, nicely done.
exactly.
Maybe these photos were taken on the Nothing 3. They're just on the essential space on the stock photo website, and they wanted to save them for later. So they took it with the essential button,
Oh,
ripping it from.
they took a screenshot.
Took the photo.
They took the photo. Yeah, they stole the photo.
There we go.
What even is a
liked it.
photo? You know what I mean?
Don't
like,
even- we're
like
not- we
how
can't.
is
we can't
AI
do it.
you know changing the shadows different from just taking it on an entirely separate camera altogether? You know what?
This is the deepest rabbit hole there is.
Can I hit the button?
Yeah, hit the
Wait,
button.
what about? Oh, I was gonna reference the Sam Altman comment
Yeah, no,
from 2 weeks ago.
that's what I was thinking.
What did he
also.
say?
Oh, well, on so Cleo did an interview with him
Yeah.
on her show, and she says, "Isn't it like? Aren't you worried about the fact that in like a couple of years we're not going to be able to tell like what was a historical accurate
Yeah.
image?" And his answer was, "Well, you know, when your smartphone takes a photo, like." Is that really a picture?
processes.
And I was
Yes.
like, bro,
man.
that is the most bad faith statement you could possibly say.
He used what is a photo?
He
on.
did.
He
did.
straight up used
and I'm like,
words.
that's not the same thing. Like one is a relatively accurate representation of reality that doesn't try to isn't made up.
Isn't inventing things.
It's inventing like shadow detail, but it's like a representation. Anyway, we can go to trivia.
It was a
Yeah.
dumb response.
It was a dumb response.
Oh my god. We
Press-
don't even. Yeah.
Press
you're
the
right.
trivia button again.
Nah. We already played the music 3 times. I can just jump into it, guys. This first question is about Hasselblad. Big Hassel, big blot. Big Hassel, bigger blot. If you know what I mean. Guys.
Hassel, two.
Hasselblad. Two Hassel, two blot.
You could say we're all hustle baddies today.
I like two Hassel, two Blad, Gothenburg Drift better because Hasselblad was founded in Gothenburg, Sweden in 1841. Since then,
old.
what is the farthest place from Gothenburg, Sweden that a Hasselblad camera has ever taken a picture?
You told me I would just know this.
You would just know this.
Well, I have an immediate guess.
Yeah, me too.
The
Okay,
farthest place
Yeah, yeah.
from Gothenburg,
Wait,
Sweden.
let's all say our immediate
No,
guess.
no. You're right. I do know this, actually.
no.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll think about this. Answers will be at the end, like usual. We'll be right back.
Support for the show comes from Framer. Seems like everyone needs a website. And sure, there are plenty of website builders that can give you a cookie-cutter design, but Framer is different. Framer is the design-ready, no-code website builder that lets anyone ship a production-ready site in minutes. That means you have the freedom to build a website that is professional, polished, and uniquely yours. No code and no compromises. Built-in AI will handle the heavy lifting by generating starter layouts and then coding behind the scenes. You'll be able to A/B test your design, set up funnels, and see exactly where people click all in one place. Having a well-designed, easy-to-navigate website is a necessity. The worst thing on the internet is finding something you're interested in and then reaching a terribly laid-out website when you're trying to learn more. Framer lets you design and test your websites so easily anyone can do it, even if you have no website building experience at all. As someone who uses a lot of editing programs, I've found the Framer tools very intuitive. And best of all, you can go try out their web page builder totally for free right now. Ready to build a site that looks cool and hand-coded without hiring a developer? Launch your site for free at framer.com and use code WAVE, that's W-A-V-E, to get your first month of pro on the house. That's framer.com, promo code WAVE. Framer.com, promo code WAVE. Rules and restrictions may apply.
All right, welcome back. We got to talk about the Pixel 10s and Pixel 10 reviews. They're out now. We've got a lot of thoughts. But first, I want to throw it to Ellis because we feel like we haven't heard your battery percentage in a minute.
That's true. We've been forgetting. I've also been charging. We didn't, it's what. But last night I got absolutely roasted on my own Instagram story for, God forbid, posting a picture with my own phone in it. So yeah, anyone want to take a guess today? I woke up kind of late. The phone came off the charger at 8:30 a.m.
And it's now almost
It is now
noon.
11:52. Yeah, so 3.5 hours. And also, I might be switching to Android by the end of the week for a little bit.
See how long you
Was
last.
that Pixel related?
It's not Pixel related. It's my iPhone is officially crossed from like this barely works to like dead zones on the screen. Most things don't work anymore.
So I'm gonna guess your.
So this is all to say, on the train I'm reading on a OnePlus Open right now, and my iPhone largely stays off in my pocket or screen off in my pocket.
So you used your phone less today.
Yeah, I pretty much I take it out to tap on the to tap into the subway, and then it goes right back in my pocket, and I pull out the OnePlus Open.
I'm gonna guess 72.
72?
42.
42 for Miles.
66.
66.
56.
56. 56 despite not using it?
Yeah.
Oh man.
That's where I was at until you said that.
David is the victor. We are at 70% this morning.
I was not that far.
We're doing pretty good.
You got time. You could make it till 4 p.m. if you want.
I absolutely cannot. Yesterday my phone died at 1 p.m. It made it halfway through the day. So much for all day battery life. Apple, am I right?
Damn.
Yeah. The 12 mini notably
year, dude.
was like the worst battery life I've
Did they ever claim all day battery about the 12 mini?
I'm not sure. Probably not.
I don't think they had it in their heart to do it.
Yeah,
It's like,
it would be tough. That would be tough.
With
I would,
MagSafe, you can top it up pretty quick.
well, speaking of MagSafe, I love this
right.
Pixel 10 Pros.
Yeah.
Pixel 10
Pixels 10
Pixel
Pro.
10 Pros. I love the Pixel 10 Pros MagSafe.
Yeah.
And by that I mean Pixel Snap, aka Qi 2. It turns out it's my favorite feature of the phone.
Yeah.
Is that a crazy take?
No.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of people who don't have a bunch of MagSafe accessories sitting around. They don't have a bunch of wireless chargers and stuff like that. But as someone who does, wow, it's been awesome. Mm-hmm. And even if you don't, the world of accessories open to you now because of having Qi 2 built into the phone and not needing a case is amazing. Power bank, stand, wireless charger, phone mount in your car. It's great. So that's a high that we can start with. Mm-hmm. You've been testing a Pixel 10 Pro as well. Literally the same spec as me. Is that right? The Moonstone
128
10
gig,
Pro
128. Yeah.
How's your experience been?
It's been pretty good. We talked a little bit before about how Google is like really building out their ecosystem to basically match Apple almost exactly. You made a video about that last week. Even today, and I guess they were already selling this when you would buy the phone, but they officially announced it today, I believe. They have now basically Apple Care. It's called Pixel Care Plus. So yeah, it's the same.
Nice.
Yeah. And they basically have parity with everything. The one things that have been annoying me, and I will say I've been mostly on an iPhone for the last year, which I do not like about myself because it made it the longer that you are on iPhone, the harder it is to switch back to
The
Android.
more hooks they getting you.
Yeah, just like the amount of friends that have just like been really actually mean to me about. It's like we have our guys. I advocated for RCS for years. We finally got it, and it works great.
But the bubbles are still green.
She literally was like the color, and I was like, Anyway, that's a whole.
I thought you were dead this morning when I texted you like, "Hey, David, do you want to carpool in this morning?" And my text was green. I was like, Jesus, what happened?
Yeah, the one thing that I miss the most, I would say, is Face ID being infrared, because when I try to turn this on and it's low light, it's like, oh, I can't see your face, and then I have to go through the. And I've also had some interesting sort of like touch problems where I touch in an area and it doesn't really register it as well.
Okay, interesting. I want to ask you a couple questions about your use, because as of right now, as of the time of recording, it's Wednesday. Yeah. And I haven't fully shot and edited the review yet, but I have all of the thoughts that I'm putting into the review.
Okay.
One of them is the GPU on Tensor is not that great.
Yeah.
And have you switched your phone? So it's the Pro, so it's already 120 hertz, but have you switched to max resolution or high resolution?
No, I've not changed any of
So
those
by
settings.
default, it stays at high resolution. I was using it at high resolution. It was pretty smooth. I switched it to max resolution, and it started chopping a little bit.
Oh, really?
And I was like, that seems not great for a brand new phone.
Yeah.
So that's one thing.
Yeah.
How's your battery life been?
Not as great as I sort of was expecting from the TSMC, change. I will say, though, I was on a 16 Pro Max. So, and even that on liquid glass was like, that was horrible battery life for that. But it's been a little bit worse than that. So I'm ending a day with like 12% or so, which at least you can get through.
Yeah.
But I was kind of expecting like really, really good battery considering the TSMC change.
Yeah,
but
I've bounced back and forth between great battery and good battery.
Okay.
I had a day where I had over 6 hours of screen on time and like 18% left. And I've had a day where, the earliest days I can't put as much stock into because the phone's still sort of like finding its footing. But with this adaptive battery, I think I've had a day where I had like 5 hours and it was about to die. So good to great sometimes.
Yeah.
And then just in general, like the software, I really like it. It's still a Pixel. That's still my good news thing. I think my overall thesis with this review, this is maybe the TLDR since the review is a separate longer video.
Yeah.
But the TLDR is the Pixel is still the Pixel. It's kind of a finished thought for now.
Yeah.
Like they're not doing any massive revamp of like, oh, we did massive camera sensors or really fast charging or anything. They're not doing anything crazy.
Yeah.
Not changing anything massive. The Pixel's still the Pixel. It's still got the software. It's still got a pretty good camera with a lot of AI stuff. And they're trying to make the leap to the masses with this phone. Yeah. And this year that looked like Jimmy Fallon, Jonas Brothers, Pixel Snap to be MagSafe, like directly bringing in normal people who may probably already have an iPhone and showing them all of the ways that it's easy to switch to this phone. And that's what's happening with the Pixel. And it's like, okay, I wish the Tensor G5 was super powerful and like turned over a new leaf and suddenly has an awesome GPU, but it's just not.
Yeah.
And that's a bummer for people like me, but it's still fine.
Have you used any of the new software features?
A bunch, yeah.
Okay. Did you get the email about how you need to like not be in the beta for Google Messages to be able to
Magic Queue?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you tried Magic Queue?
I've tried Magic Queue. Very mixed experience with that. I've been prompting myself through text messages from another line, like setting it up to work really well.
Yeah.
And like 7 times out of 10, it kind of doesn't do much, or it'll just give me like a link to open a different app where I can find the relevant information. So I'll ask like, when's your flight next week? And it'll be like, open the calendar right here, instead of the prompt it's supposed to give me with the actual flight info.
Yeah.
And then 1 or 2 times out of 10, like we got it to actually work when
This
you
morning,
texted me.
yeah.
You asked it a very specific question about a flight that we knew we had next week.
Yeah.
Instead, it answered by giving me my flight this week. So it had like the button there to like ready an autofill, but it was the wrong flight.
That's almost worse.
It's worse because when you press it, it doesn't autofill, it sends. It doesn't
Yeah,
let you
that's-
edit it.
yeah.
They should add
So-
long press to like give a suggestion, tap to send, long press to like
yeah.
just bring into your like messages box.
Well, think about this
And-
too, because like flight numbers are the same every day. So if it says if you say what was your flight number and it grabbed your flight from last week, and you don't know whether or not that's your flight number unless you actually go check it in the thing. So if you send the wrong flight number, you're not going to know, and then you give them wrong information, and that's where these LLMs like have problems. Like,
Yeah.
we've seen multiple times it pulling like the wrong event from your calendar or like from your email, like, oh, my haircut last week, like what time did I get that? And it'll pull it from a month ago. You know?
Yeah, if it was weird that it did it because next week seems pretty obvious, especially because it's
Yeah.
Wednesday today and it pulled Friday. So like it should definitely know it's the following week.
Right.
Maybe if it was like a weekend, it would be a little confused.
Yeah.
It doesn't send the flight number. It just sends
No.
the date and the time that you're supposed to be flying.
Okay.
Which when I ask you
Well,
about your flight,
I did say what time is your flight
Yeah,
next
so maybe we could
You
try
said-
what's your flight number.
this one that we
I
got to
said,
work
when
said,
is-
when is your flight next week? And the tap that I could immediately click on with Magic Queue would send the time and date of my flight this week and no flight number.
Yeah, can I see this for a 2nd
I'm gonna
It's
text
just annoying because the thing says like 9/1/2025 and then says like where you're leaving from, where you're coming to. But when you press it, it only does the date and time.
Yeah. I wish it
Which
sent
would be
what it
nice
said
to
it
say
would.
where it was going. Like,
Yeah.
you can give a little more information. I'm not typing it. I will always give more information if I don't have to type it. It'd be
Yeah.
great if it said flight number, like all sorts of different things. Because Claire all the time will be like, "Hey, can you just send me your flight number?" Like,
Yeah.
So
just
I can see if it's on time.
Yeah, so I can see if it's on time, or just to make sure, like, just in case anything were to happen. So if I could send her when we were leaving, where we were leaving, what, like the whole flight card,
Yeah.
I know it's pulling from. That would make way more sense.
I just texted you, what's your flight number for your flight next week?
Okay.
See if it
My thing also is when I was typing this, I was like, is this how I would actually have
Got
a
that.
friend?
so it gave you
send
the
it
actual
to
flight
me?
number.
It gave me my flight this week, but it gives me the flight number. And if I tap it, that's my flight number this week. And I'd have to edit it.
Did it tell you that it's for this week?
I recognize it as this week because of the destination in the Magic Queue card.
Oh, okay.
So I know that it's the wrong answer.
Okay.
But it
Yeah.
does give me the cue to hit the.
At least it
the
gives you
flight.
context and stuff.
Yeah, I think this one over here is next week. So
Can
it's
you
give
type-
me this week and next week.
Real quick, can you say like, when is your trip next week? I want to see if it's going to associate.
when?
Yeah,
Okay. When is your trip next week?
because I don't think I was typing very specifically trying to trigger it. But do
Yeah.
I think all the people like when we talk about search engine, like our own type of like search engine type? Now this is other people coming to you. So what does it say?
Yeah, it's pulling from my Google Calendar and it's viewing my calendar event of drive to the studio in the morning as my trip for next week, and it's just putting 8 a.m. tomorrow morning as my trip.
Okay.
This is
for
and,
next week.
To play off of what Ellis said last week about none of the stuff works. In the like perfect orb of like Google land or OpenAI land where all of this AI stuff actually works, yeah, you can see the appeal.
Yeah.
The problem is none of it at least by the time it ships and usually for a couple of years later actually is like works reliably.
It's definitely not perfect.
yeah.
Yeah.
I like their analogy is always it's your personal assistant you don't have to pay for. If you had an assistant and said, "When is my trip next week?" and they said, "You're driving to the studio tomorrow morning,"
Yeah, that
you
would be
like,
a
"Okay."
horrible response.
Yeah.
But I can see like a trajectory where in the future they can update this and tighten the strings and it will be a helpful assistant so that if someone's like, when's your flight next week? They can send me the flight time, the flight number, the flight destination just to make sure everything's working, and then it all is super useful for me.
Yeah.
My other question is, will this be able to pull from multiple email addresses? Because if I don't put everything in my calendar, I'm still getting flight stuff to my possibly work email versus Google Messages is logged into my personal email, or hotel reservations might go to my work
It's
email.
probably from all of your
Main
Gmail
one, right?
accounts.
Magic
Yeah,
Queue
but-
is, I mean, this is a setting in the phone, so I assume it's going to pull from every Google account I'm
That I
signing
have-
into,
okay.
but it's unclear.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, have you tried the conversational editing?
Yeah, that bangs.
Bangs.
It works.
Nice.
It's really good.
Yeah.
It's kind of shockingly good, actually. And my question is it going to do videos at some point? Because that would be
Probably.
that'd be
That's
kinda
probably
sick.
next year.
Yeah, the conversational editing is literally just semantically parsing like the actions I'm asking for
Yeah.
and just doing the edits for me in Google
Yeah.
Photos. And I think this is going to be available for everyone at some point. But as of right now, on the Pixel 10, I open up a photo, I hit edit, and I go like, delete the car in the background and make the sky more blue. And then give it like 5 seconds, and then you just have a photo with the cars deleted and the sky more blue, and just did the edits for you. That might have taken some time
Yeah.
if you had to do it manually.
It's kind of the equivalent of now that the Tensor is so good at voice texting. It's like I want to voice text more because it almost texts at the speed of thought.
Yeah.
So if you can do that for editing, especially if something you're just quickly editing on the phone, you might as well, you know?
It's a really good point. It's literally the best thing about Gemini Nano on the device and like Tensor and the TPU and everything is
Yeah.
voice texting
Yeah.
is incredible on this phone.
Yeah.
So if you're into
Biggest
that,
Tensor upgrade for sure.
yeah, that's pretty sick.
For sure. Yeah, I don't know. I think overall it just really feels like they finally like the headline for the Pixel has always been the iPhone of Android, literally since the Pixel 1. But it feels like they actually made their iPhone now. Like everything is parity. So
More clearly than ever.
yeah.
I do want to spend a beat on the camera because we said we were going to get to this.
Yeah.
I think the wides. So first of all, triple cameras on the base phone is like the big deal with the cameras.
Yeah.
The Pros have bigger sensors, but it's the same focal lengths for a wide, an ultra wide, and a telephoto. The zooms I've taken have been a letdown.
Yeah.
And I'm curious if you found the same thing because it's a 5x optical, which to me means everything between 1x and 5x is a little bit suboptimal.
Yeah.
Then you get to 5x and it's good. And then for me, 5x to 10x is pretty good. And then beyond that, it tries at 30x to do the ProRes zoom thing, and I was comparing it to just the iPhone, which is not that great of a zoom, and I was comparing it to the S25 Ultra, which is a great zoom.
Yeah.
And it was getting beat by both, and I just felt like a watercolory softness to every zoom photo I was taking.
Yeah.
And to be fair, maybe you don't take that many zoom photos. I felt like the future was encouraging me to take more zoom photos, so I
Yeah.
was taking them, but that part did let me down on the Pixel.
Yeah.
It's
It
almost like
definitely
we've heard
feels
this
soft.
before.
Yeah.
Pixel
Yeah.
and ultra zoom or some sort of mega zoom, and it not being great.
It definitely feels like Google in particular like wants to flex their AI filling features so much that they don't care as much about the optics anymore for the actual
You
zoom.
never really cared about the optics. They
Yeah.
kind of struck gold with the older sensors and their processing and having like an early Pixel that was like dominating.
had contrast.
But it's not like they were winning because the sensor was amazing. They were winning because their image processing pipeline was god tier.
Yeah.
And then, you know, they
it's
did eventually
old.
upgrade the sensors and they're bigger sensors now, but they're not like
Their pipeline's
winning
about the same though.
Exactly. They're
Yeah.
not winning because their hardware is amazing. They're
Yeah.
just still doing Google stuff with the camera.
Yeah.
So that's still true. Pixel's still Pixel.
Yeah, I was not super impressed with the cameras overall. Like this is just like this is a 5x zoom photo of this bird.
Yeah.
And it's a bird.
That one's pretty solid.
It's okay. It's like there, but you compare this to any Chinese phone that's out right now, and they blow it away by far.
Yeah, and this is a $1,000 phone. To be
Yeah.
clear, like I'm comparing it to iPhone 16 Pro, another $1,000 phone,
Yeah.
which doesn't have that much emphasis on zoom, and it gets beat. I'm comparing this to like Chinese phones that are $900 to $1,200 that are spanking it in the zoom department. So
Yeah.
if you care about zoom, I would say the Pixel is going to be a letdown for you.
Yeah.
But normal wides look really good,
Yeah.
which is nice.
But like fine detail and bokeh, you crop in at all and just falls apart. The bokeh in the background looks like really kind of gross and artificial, and
Yeah.
I don't know. It's funny that the Pixel went from like the camera phone to now it is the smartest phone.
Yeah.
But the camera is like an afterthought.
Yeah,
So.
it turned out it was the camera phone because it was the smartest phone.
Yeah, true. Yes.
Which is kind of sneaky. But
Yes.
it turns out that's why.
Yes. So
I mean, that makes me feel better. I ordered the regular 10, but like the biggest thing between the two, one of them seems to be like the new sensors on like the telephoto and the
Yeah.
ultra wide. And if they're really not that great anyways, then I think
And you're okay with 60 hertz.
it's not 60 hertz, isn't it?
It is
It's
60 by default, but
60,
there's a box to
120.
check to be
yeah,
120.
it's like adaptive.
Yeah, adaptive.
It's not 1-to-1.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I meant
No,
LTPO. My bad. I shouldn't have said that. Yeah.
And then, I mean, it's got a better selfie. It seems like all of that. And what I didn't realize last time we talked is I thought the Pro started at 256. It doesn't.
It doesn't.
It's $999 at 128.
Yeah.
Which I think is a travesty.
The Pro XL starts at 250.
Yeah.
Yes, which is so I like bumped up to get 256
On the regular one?
On the regular one,
Here comes the price ladder.
but it still would be a price ladder even if
Oh,
you
you're
went
right.
regular $799.
You're right.
256 8. But no, to get 256 Pro is $200 more than the
yeah.
stupid.
Wait, really?
Well, because then it's
$200.
$1099 to get.
Oh my
It
goodness.
goes $999 128, $1099 256.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah. And also, lemongrass is the best color by like a long shot. Please mute both of their
Wow.
microphones.
Unreal. The hot take.
I'm immediately getting the D-brand
You
Ghost
got the
case
lemongrass?
to keep so I can show.
You really
lemongrass
got
off.
that lemongrass?
Hell yeah, I'll show you right here.
Oh my
Wow.
goodness. All right.
I do think the thing that we said for a couple years about the Pixel, which is the gap between the Pro and the regular phone, is pretty small.
It's so small now.
Really makes the regular phone feel like a good deal,
Yeah.
and the Pro phone specifically, when compared to the base phone, feel like not that good of a deal.
The fact that this is now a $200 delta, though, instead of a $300 delta, is a pretty big deal. Because back on the Pixel 6 and Pixel 7, the reason we were saying like you're
It
not
was
getting
$300.
it was
Well,
$300.
$699, right? The base.
Yeah, the base was
That
such a good deal.
That was the
And it was
best
like,
deal. In
I'm happy
phonies.
about that. It's like one of the best deal phones out there.
Yeah.
But it just made the Pro seem like not a good deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But even now, today, like, okay, what's the difference between the Pixel 10 and the Pixel 10 Pro? Bigger sensors on all the cameras, better selfie camera, LTPO, slightly brighter, slightly higher res, slightly smaller battery.
Yeah. There's a ProRes zoom instead of
Pro camera
super
features.
zoom,
Yeah,
camera features.
which you may use sometimes.
That's
yeah,
what
but
Pro,
other than that, it's like
Pro model should be that. Pro model should be. There's one thing I really, really want that's
Yeah.
better, so I'm going to go this. Most people in most situations should be buying base models of
yeah,
phones.
and I think Google probably knows that because
agree.
the phones that sell the most volume, like in the United States, are really, really cheap phones. Right? It's the iPhone, and then it's the Samsungs, and then after that, it's always been like Motorola and Alcatel or whatever. You know, it's like the pay as you go, like super cheap stuff. And so if Google is able to be like, hey, you can pay $20 less a month, and it's basically what you'd need, then that's a really good model for them. So
Yeah.
yeah. Speaking of phones, we're already moving on to Apple.
Yep.
Elite transition.
There you go. Last talk about Pixel for the rest of the year.
I'm sorry. I need to help clarifying something before we leave Pixel.
Sure.
Why does Google call it lemongrass and everyone else calls it limoncello?
That's what their old yellow was, and we
Yeah.
were just all calling it limoncello before the official thing came
It's a more fun word to say.
out. Sorry.
Okay,
That's,
that was it.
you heard
Yeah.
everyone in here talking about it because that's what the last
I've
time
been
it was
confused as heck.
Yeah.
called. I think limoncello is better.
Yeah.
Yeah, also that's the color that this actually is. I mean, it's not. It's piss.
Y'all need
My man.
y'all
Yeah.
need some more water.
But
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're
Or a doctor, probably.
anyway,
Pepper man over here.
iPhones.
not doing enough water runs, Alice.
Well, okay. So we'll have the full Pixel 10 review shortly.
Yeah.
But we are already moving on to iPhones because Apple has officially announced the iPhone 17 launch event for the day we all knew it would be, which is September 9th.
Do we get to overanalyze the invitation now?
So apparently, and I haven't done this yet, and maybe we should just do this live. If you go to the invite on Safari,
Any web browser.
It's if you just go to
is it any?
apple.com. Yeah.
Okay. So what we're seeing right now is the invite is called, it just says Apple event, and it's got this liquid glass iPhone above it with sort of this rainbow, almost Siri-esque thing on it.
I would
me,
call
it
it
reads
like
heat map.
It's like it's like
Heat
thermal imaging.
Yeah.
Apple logo.
Oh.
Yeah. And like it's a heat map because when
Someone's
you
never seen a thermal camera before, and it shows.
Yes, I thought you were the camera boy.
Yes, I have.
Yeah, specifically heat map also because when you move your mouse around it, it shows the like red, like it's heated up
Do
where
we
the
want to
mouse is
analyze
going.
that?
I don't
okay.
know what that
It
means.
means that it gets really hot.
Yeah. All we know is it's awe dropping. That's
Yeah,
the tag.
that's
the
the
tag
tagline.
phrase. Sometimes it's really obvious, but
Yeah.
awe dropping and the heat map.
Awe dropping is very generic.
I don't know what to make of awe dropping, to be honest.
I think it just means amazing.
yeah, it's like a generic like,
like
oh, it's gonna be
jaw-dropping.
great,
Wait,
jaw
wait.
dropping,
Yeah,
awe
dropping
inspiring.
is not a phrase.
This might.
I know, it's not supposed to
inspiring
be.
and
It's like a
jaw
brand
dropping
word.
combined.
Do you think
It's just jaw dropping, but like,
Awe
in
inspiring
Yeah.
and jaw dropping
Right.
combined into one.
Do you think this could be the best iPhone they've ever released?
No.
According to Apple, yes.
That's what they want us to. That's where they want us to be.
I did hear it's going to have all-day battery life, though.
Dude, all day?
Yeah, because there won't be a mini version. That's why.
That's crazy.
I think someone has at some point compiled like all of the previous Apple events and then what the major announcement turned out to be and how it's connected to the teaser.
Right.
I'm very curious how this
Yeah.
heat map is going to translate to whatever we see at the September event.
This is a live heat map of the 17 Air.
What if it has a
So
temperature
hot.
sensor?
Thermometer, like
the
the
Pixel.
It does the Pixel.
Wait, does the Pixel
It
still
does.
have a
It does, but only on the Pro.
I
No,
literally
but only on the Pro.
forgot about it.
The,
Yep,
the
still
funny
has
thing
it.
about it is
the
we
doctor
all
model.
missed in the leaks when we were wondering if it was the base or the Pro. None of us here clocked that there was a temperature
yeah.
sensor on the back of it, and it was
second-
the Pro.
yeah, that's a
we
good
got
point.
torn apart for that one.
Hear me
That's
out.
how much we remembered it.
There's a temperature sensor, but it's built into like the combo like antenna frame of the phone, and so to use it on food, you need to fully
Insert-
insert your phone into the meat.
IP68, baby.
That would be wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really don't know what to make of the temperatures. Is it? Let me look at the comments. I tweeted this invitation
I
and
tried-
nobody really said anything about
I tried to. I read a few articles, and there's very few. Almost all of the ones previous were like this and this are the teasers. This is obviously what they mean, and I just didn't see that. I could have missed it, but
People are saying thermal camera. That is the most useless thing anyone could put
No,
in a new
yeah.
phone. I don't understand.
Yeah.
Liquid.
Literally, what would be the
useless,
value
it's
of
just-
that?
Really cool looking photos. You could pretend to be Brockhampton.
I mean,
you could see a potential gas leak in your house with your iPhone. Oh,
That's a good
That's
commercial.
a perfect FOMO.
That's a good
Could you do that with a thermal camera?
Remember
Is
the
it thermal?
cat?
I don't know.
Remember
don't
the
think so.
cat phones had this?
thermal
the Caterpillar
camera.
phones?
Yeah,
had this?
or you
Yeah.
could buy like a FLIR camera
Yeah.
and like look at infrared and see like things that were hotter with the heat signatures.
Yeah.
and
There are
cool.
types of thermal cameras that can do it.
Oh, the vapor chamber rumors.
Well, every.
Yeah.
well,
So the phone. Oh, because
I don't think previous
Oh.
iPhones had vapor chamber cooling.
So the new one was going to have vapor chambers with the
I
air.
stole
probably
this idea
won't.
from Mac rumors. I'm not that smart.
oh, did you look up what people think it is?
I Googled Apple event heat map thermal.
I'm going to ask ChatGPT. I'm going to feed it a picture of the invite and ask it what
Ooh.
it thinks the hidden feature is going to be. I'll report back.
I like that. Yeah, anyway, we are expected, obviously, to see the new Pros that look like pixels. It all comes round, you know? Google tries to be like Apple. Apple tries to be like Google. Now we are at the singularity. And we are obviously supposed to see the iPhone 17 Air as well, which someone had asked me, do you think that they are making the Air just sort of as a way of prepping for the foldable iPhone?
I
And
see stuff like that also, and I don't make the
I mean,
connection.
I could see like they needed to engineer a lot of thinner parts, and so they have gotten to that point, and they're still working on the foldable. So they're like, well, we might as well make use of this.
I guess the funny thing, have we confirmed the Air? I guess it has to be thinner, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, okay.
it's the whole thing.
I mean,
Oh.
the camera.
It'll have all-day battery.
Okay,
Will it?
ChatGPT's done an interesting job here. Jaw-dropping design. Awe-dropping is basically talking about the Air is going to have this jaw-dropping, super thin design.
Yeah,
5.5 millimeters, thinnest iPhone ever. It drops your jaw. That's what they're saying. And then the color palette, they're saying because the heat signatures are kind of between blue and orange,
cool.
those are the two new colors of the iPhone Pro, the blue and the orange. Remember you've seen the teasers? Like,
and plus liquid glass.
But that
liquid
doesn't
glass,
help when
yeah.
it goes to red on the heat map.
yeah, they didn't.
It's
really-
hard that
Very
it's not.
reddish orange.
Can you follow up with it and say, so why does it turn red when I drag my mouse around it?
I think it's not seeing the animation of that. I also don't get how jaw dropping means iPhone Air.
Because it's going to be so thin, you're going to be not unable.
They're going to make a
believe
big deal
it.
about how thin
They,
it is.
they should have called it jaw inspiring.
jaw inspiring.
Awe jaw.
Inspired by your jaw.
Oh man, is that our title for The Apple episode.
Jaw
The
inspiring.
jaw inspiring.
Which, by the way, we are going to be doing a podcast at Apple Park about this.
we will be out there this year.
Are we publicly announcing that right now?
Well, I
be
mean,
at
it
the
won't be a live thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We will. Our
We're
goal is to
recording.
do a podcast out there at some point.
Well,
in some
no, we're gonna
place.
say it, guys. Let's put some enthusiasm on it. Come
Well,
on.
we haven't locked down the
Waveform
details yet.
live from Apple, not live, taped from Apple campus after the event.
Definitely stay tuned. Next week's episode is going to be awesome, or whatever. 2 weeks from now, the episode is going to be awesome. But yeah, ChatGPT says it's coded vapor chamber iPhone 17 Pro. So
Who cares about that?
Yeah.
Does anyone care about that?
David, you've been talking about how hot your iPhone is for the past 6 episodes.
Yeah, because liquid glass.
I think that's
maybe-
just poor efficiency.
Oh, that's one of those things. That's one of those things Apple does. They will come out with a new software feature that ends up being way better on the newer phones.
Yeah.
And so even though you have the software feature on your current phone, you still want to upgrade because that vapor chamber is going to make my liquid glass run all day.
Yeah.
Are you saying the
Pro
iPhone 17 is built for liquid glass?
Yes.
They will say
Yes,
that.
that's exactly what they're going to do.
Built for liquid glass.
And it's going to have all day battery life again.
You know what they're going to say? They're going to say liquid glass uses this many rendering engines and it can get quite hot because it's marveling the beauty of the liquid glass.
I
But
would
with
even-
iPhone 17 Pro, we've built this specifically for liquid glass.
I would even bet that there will be special liquid glass animations that are enabled by the vapor chamber on the 17 Pros.
Damn. That's a lot of
That's a
processing to
super
not be able to
deep-
read things on your
Yeah,
homepage.
super niche possible bet that I'm willing to make.
Marketing.
I
The
am
bet. If you lose,
honestly-
you have to buy Hasselblad.
I am honestly excited for vapor chamber
ideas.
cooling, not because I use liquid glass or want to, but every time we go outside to shoot an autofocus video and we have something connected to the USB-C port, you notice how the brightness on the screen just drops to like 2% because it's cooking after like 10 minutes of usage.
Yes.
So this does actually have real world application for me that I'm very hyped for.
That's actually very fair.
Applications.
And you know, if we want to talk about like the quote pro iPhone and how people like use it for their job, we use these phones to shoot videos, and one of the most common issues with it is they overheat after a while, and this would make it easier to shoot for a long time in hot places.
It's more surprising that they didn't have it before because every other
Yeah.
smartphone has had some sort of insane cooling solution. So,
and then they could talk about
would
like
say
gaming
who?
performance and stuff.
yeah. Who are you talking about?
Who?
Other
Tether?
phones? Yeah.
Red Magic?
This is the first time also that you could be talking about the new iPhone with your buds, and if your mom found your phone, she would think you were talking about drugs. Like your mom finding a text message on your phone that's like, oh man, like I was so excited to use all this liquid glass, but my vapor chamber hasn't come in yet.
My vape chamber. My vape cham.
Sick.
Yeah. It's like that. So I won't bring that up.
Yeah, no, Adam's gonna cut that anyway.
Yeah. No, it's funny.
Yeah, but not to Adam.
Well, one more quick iPhone related headline before we take a quick break, which is, I don't know if you guys saw this. There's a Bloomberg, I guess it's a rumor because it's not really.
It's also not, though. We'll bring it up first and then we'll.
Yeah. So allegedly, Apple is in discussion with Google about using Gemini to power this revamped Siri. So as we know, Apple's been working on this revamped Siri powered by LLMs for a while, still not out.
1 year.
Is it
It's
over a
been-
year?
Well, the next event will be 1 year because the iPhone 17 was built for Apple Intelligence.
Right. So it's been a year since then.
16
But
was.
even DubDub
16,
was.
sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, DubDub was when they announced it. So it's been
So it's
over
a
a
year and a
year
half.
since
Yeah.
they showed it.
Yeah.
And we still don't have this new Siri, right? So
Yeah.
we're all kind of wondering when it's going to come out. How hard could this be? What are their holdups? What is the progress they're making? They're not going to tell us any of this stuff. But this conversation of like, maybe we'll work with Google and then Gemini will power it, it kind of reads like an April Fool's Day headline. Like, really? We're going to ask Siri and Siri is going to just do more Google stuff? What, like, how
Yeah.
the whole Apple and Siri thing and being focused on privacy seems like it does not compute with working with Google. I don't know. It's
they're
a weird headline.
Floundering for sure. I've heard from multiple people inside of Apple that like people are getting moved around different teams that were working on certain teams. They're all getting moved to like the Siri team, and they're just racing to do these. There's been all these leaks and rumors that they're thinking about buying Anthropic and they're thinking of doing this, and like
saw it too.
that's all recent.
Yeah.
Which means that like
Which means they're not done.
they're not.
They're not close.
And it's how did they announce this a year and a half ago when they were this far behind?
Yeah.
Well, I don't think
It's
they
crazy.
knew they were this far behind, but
Yeah.
now they do.
Well, so if you'll remember, there was this special, like if you were at the event, they had this like kind of sit down thing with iJustine last year where she asked them some questions. And they said that she said, like, are you exclusively working with OpenAI about, using these LLMs? And they said, oh no, we're like looking into working with Gemini as well. So they clearly already had said publicly that they were going to have an option eventually to. It was like do you want
More like the ChatGPT.
Yeah, do you want to
integration.
ask ChatGPT? They said eventually we're going to be able to. Do you want to ask Gemini instead? But now, I mean, it seems like they need to use it for more than just that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of questions about like how, if you work at Apple, you probably think about this, like how do you see the future of people talking to LLMs? Will they be actively switching between models consciously, or should there just be your model and your model can do everything for them? I know when I'm in Raycast, I can switch between Gemini and ChatGPT for different things because I know one does something better than the other. But do we want regular people doing that? I don't know.
But that's also the model that like goes to the internet and tries to fetch information, whereas the Siri model was supposed to be the model that controls the phone, that knows what you mean when you say, hey, what time is my Uber going to get here? So it can reach inside of Uber and tell you that information. That local model, it's like Gemini Nano. It should be able to like
Should run on device.
Run
quickly.
So is like Siri AI just going to use Gemini Nano?
Which would be really funny, but it's like if Apple's not a really, really heavy AI first company, maybe they're having too much trouble shrinking their model to be totally on device to do that type of stuff. Maybe they actually do need that type of help.
Yeah.
Who pays who in this scenario?
In this one, because it's not going to be coded and say it's Gemini, I assume, it's probably
Google's.
Apple paying Google.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I guess if Google knows it gets all of the data,
They can't.
and I don't think they
think-
can either. But
Especially
I
if
think
it's a
it'll
local
be-
model, it won't. That
Yeah.
data won't go anywhere.
Yeah, it'll be like Apple buys this technology from
licensing
Google
it.
or something.
Yeah.
And they get to use it and run it locally.
Yeah.
I think another interesting little tidbit of this whole saga for Apple has been the papers they've been publishing, because they run a machine learning lab. Let me make sure I get this title right. The big paper that made the big splash was from June of this year, called The Illusion of Thinking, that was comparing LLM and LRM's at ability to solve different complexities of tasks.
Large language and large reasoning, right?
Yeah. Large language model and large reasoning model. And it's pretty critical. It's pretty like, we are, these things are not as powerful as we want them to be. They put out a paper last week that was kind of interesting that I only skimmed.
Yeah, me too. I summarized it with ChatGPT.
It's called The Superweight in Large Language Models, and it's about how with LLMs specifically, you can severely alter the outcomes by changing only a few weights. And like, even if there's millions of different parameters in their models, you can change like 5 or 6 weights and like have it give a completely different answer. Anyway, this is all to say, to me, when it's like they're like pushing us back, it feels like, because Apple has slightly different standards for what like a working product is than the rest of the tech industry, they themselves are starting to realize like, oh, we're not ready.
It's also one of those things where all of these AI companies have a lot to gain by being misleading.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Apple has a lot to gain by not being misleading, but they also have a lot to lose, like, because they're not ready. They don't have this stuff ready.
Yeah.
They never wanted to do this heavy, LLM stuff. They got forced to do it because the stock market.
Yeah.
There's going to be incentive on both sides to be either positive or negative about the state of this technology, but Apple doesn't have a lot to gain on hyping up the technology, especially because of how behind they are.
Well, and it's like their stock price will not be affected by people speculating how good new Siri is going to be. You know what I mean? Whereas most of these other players are.
Well, they'll get to
They
use the
could.
term AI, which is great for stock prices.
It is for great stock prices, but to me, I've always understood, and now we're getting into investment talk. So
This is not investment
So
advice.
much.
but it's like so much of these other publicly traded AI companies, like they don't have sales or like assets or like actual revenue that would support their stock price. Like the stock, like their stock price is supported by this speculative idea that they will have the dominant AI in whatever weird future we enter.
Right.
Whereas Apple makes the iPhone. Like they're gonna be fine. You know, their stock price is not as dependent on this idea that one day every single piece of reasoning in humanity will be done by Gemini or ChatGPT or whatever Meta is cooking up.
But I do think investors look at
girl.
this and they say like, oh, if Apple falls behind on this thing that the tech bros say is going to be the next coming of God, then Google is really forward in the next coming of God. Then like will people stop buying iPhones and therefore their stock goes down because they don't make as much revenue. ABC.
It's
People
a
are
bunch of
looking.
ifs.
Yeah, it's a bunch of ifs. They're looking
is a bunch
30
of
years in the
ifs.
future. They're trying to like predict the next boom.
They're all just gambling.
That's true.
Also true.
But we should all read the
gambling.
super weight in large language models. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
If you're curious.
If you're curious, maybe I'll just have ChatGPT somewhere.
You know what I'm curious about? What the trivia questions?
Oh,
Ayo. Ayo.
guys, after the break, we're going to talk YouTube features because we recently got access, or on the last episode of the podcast, people were hyping us up, and that's the first time we've ever seen that in action. So naturally, I had to write a question about old YouTube features that no longer exist. So
Let's go.
This is coming in Price is Right rules, but it's a year question. So you need to, if you go past the year, later than the year, that's the over.
Okay.
The higher year is over?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So guys, in what year did YouTube remove all existing annotations from videos that were already on the platform? A few years before that, they got rid of the ability to add new annotations.
Yeah.
But in what year did they say, oh yeah, you're pointing to this part of the screen? It means nothing anymore.
Annotations were a super common feature.
Annotations were the perfect example of this is why we can't have nice things.
Yeah, because people abused it. I will say there were channels that used it very gracefully. I think a Mystery Guitar Man might have even done like a choose your own adventure
Yep,
type
I remember
of
that
thing.
video.
Where like click on this part of the video and it'll take you to an unlisted video and then
Yeah.
click on this annotation and you're like moving through unlisted videos through annotations.
Even just getting to like fix a mistake. Where like maybe you
With
just
the
said
text.
something wrong and if you could throw a text annotation, but we can't do that because people had to make full screen invisible annotations where you clicked it and it went to like a malicious website instead.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. This is one of the biggest difficulties with making YouTube videos is like on a website, you can make a correction and you can say, corrected at this moment. This is what we originally said. This is what we're saying now. You can't do that with video.
I think
So annoying.
they should be able to bring back just plain text annotation.
I agree.
Like there is a
Even if
video
it's
editor on
verified
YouTube
only, yeah.
and you can do things like blur stuff and you can make critical cuts from a video. I think you should be able to do YouTube. If you're listening, you should be able to do plain text, non-linked annotations on a YouTube video. Every journalist on the platform and everyone who's ever made a typo in a video would love that ability.
Yeah.
And there's no way it would be abused.
Imagine it works
way.
like the blurring feature where slowly over time the blur just
Starts
starts
twitching and
and like
growing.
growing into different parts of the video.
That's also possible. Okay. Well, think about that one though. Annotations. Good trivia question.
If I was president, my first law would be Mystery Guitar Man is the only person in the United States who's allowed to wear sunglasses indoors. I think he earned it, and everyone else is just
think
jocking his swag.
Casey's right behind him, and then it's
Sorry, Casey.
Dan Aykroyd.
I would finally be able to see Anna
Nope.
Wintour's eyes. Yeah.
No, not Pitbull, just Mystery Guitar Man. Sorry, Pitbull.
sorry, Pitbull.
Ellis for President 2028.
We'll be right back.
All right, welcome back. I have a game to talk about. A game that I don't even really know that well, but something just happened and it was very funny. And I think there's a tech world comparison we can make. So in the indie game world, we kind of had something similar to like the Apple event launching, which is this game called Hollow Knight. The second version of it called Hollow Knight Silksong just got announced after 6 years since the last one. The first one was incredibly popular. It's a Metroidvania style game.
It
Essentially,
was 6 years since the announcement of Silksong.
since the announcement. Yeah,
Hollow Knight
sorry.
came out in 2017.
Yeah. It's Metroidvania style, which basically
before.
is just, it's like a non-linear side-scrolling type of game. It's a mix between Metroid and Castlevania, is what that means.
Yeah.
Anyways, it is the most wishlisted game on Steam in that last 6 years. And I think the last time we saw like a teaser for it was in 2022. But anyways, they just announced their launch date. But because of how popular this game is, dozens of other indie games have straight up just been like, we're postponing our launch. And in every single one that I've read so far, they are also postponing their launch, just straight up saying, because Silksong is coming out, we're delaying this. Like half of them said, I can't wait to play Silksong, but we're delaying our game because this is so big and we don't want to. So it reminds me of, like you said, the OnePlus event that announced and then was the same day as the Apple
OnePlus
event.
6 event got announced, and then like 2 weeks beforehand, Apple was like, iPhone event this day, and OnePlus was like, oh god. So
oh no,
they moved it to be 2 weeks after the Apple event because you can't do that.
But now imagine in our world though, Google or whatever changes their event and straight up just goes, because the Apple event's happening.
Yeah, right.
Like, don't make up an excuse or anything.
Wow.
People also do this with Taylor Swift artists. When they know she's dropping, they're like,
sure they do.
you got it, fam.
That's all
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
And it makes sense in the indie game world because like a lot of these developers are really small teams and like it's kind of make or break if it does well. So like delay it a month, give yourself the best chance possible.
Yeah.
I understand.
I read a very long kind of retrospective on this whole situation, and I apologize if I get some small facts incorrect, but I believe effectively what it was that Hollow Knight was like unbelievably popular. They announced Silksong as like it was supposed to be a DLC to Hollow Knight.
Oh, really?
So it wasn't going to it was only going to take a little bit of time to develop, but they ended up enjoying the development process so much, and like it was going to be a new character with some new areas, but then they were like, wait, this new character, we could do so much with this. So like, okay, we're going to turn it into a game. And then years went by, and randomly at different games events like Gamescom and like the Switch, all this stuff, they would show a little teaser, or they'd let you play like 5 minutes of it, and then they would just go dark again for like 2 to 2.5 years. And now, literally like a few days ago, they officially they had a little event where they just like put out some gameplay, and they put out the release date,
September 4th.
September 4th. And someone did a interview with the developers and were like, what's the inside story? Like, why did this get delayed so many times? Like, why is it taking so long? And they were just like, it was really fun to make. Like, we just really wanted to add like way more content, and we just kept realizing that it was like not gonna happen if we released it so early. So we just kept doing it.
That's fire.
And
That's awesome.
in the words of Gabe Newell, bad is forever, delayed is temporary. So
That's true.
That's the Apple philosophy with the new Siri.
Well,
sure.
I don't know. This isn't a type of game that I would play, but it does look beautiful and it looks really complicated, but in one of those ways where like it's so complicated when you know how complicated and know how to work the controls, it looks super fun.
Yeah, it's like a low skill floor, extremely high skill ceiling kind of game.
Is that what being a dad is like?
Low skill floor, extremely high.
I think there's a high
I
skill
don't know.
floor.
I
to
hit
be
the
a dad.
ceiling immediately, so I wouldn't know.
You got to
Wow.
break through that ceiling, Andrew. Yeah.
Anyways, I won't say anything else about that because we'll probably get some small information wrong and look like posers.
Well, we are posers.
We are
We don't
posers.
play video
That's
games.
true.
We're
The
not
poser
posers.
podcast.
We're
The-
just
My comp is it feels like a Daft Punk album. I know they're not making any new albums, but when they went a decade between making albums, it was kind of like, I don't know what's taking so long. And then you see the behind the scenes and you're like, oh, that's what took so
They
long.
Yeah.
cooked.
But it's once a decade.
That's true. That's my Streetlight Manifesto album. They went 12 years without an album. They announced it. They announced a specific release date. 6 days before the release date, they're like, nope.
Give me some more time.
Now it's coming out in the fall.
Yeah.
And I'm waiting with
Wait,
bated
it's still not
breath.
out yet?
Nope.
I thought you went and saw them.
I have seen them 6 times this year. And yeah, they released 3 early demos of 3 tracks
Okay.
on YouTube so they can delete them later. But the new album is coming out hopefully in September or October.
It might have gotten delayed because Hollow Knight Silksong's coming out in September.
That's true. They're like, people can't listen to things and play things at the same
Some
time.
GTA 6.
All right, one more quick thing. YouTube Hype is launched. Ellis alluded to this earlier. We talked about this about a year ago, I think it was, is when it got announced. But it's out. Super quick TLDR of how this works and how I've been testing it and seeing, what happens is YouTube released a new feature called hyping a video. And essentially what it does is for channels that are between 500 and 500,000 subscribers, you can basically do something that's like a super like, if you want to call it that. Hype.
That's why people were hyping Waveform.
Yeah.
We're still not at 500
We
yet.
are not at 5. Yeah, we're at 475, so
Okay.
they can hype us. It's
For-
the only
for now.
MKBHD channel that can get, I guess, Clips also. But actually, Clips
Clips has
whatever.
more, yeah.
I think it does, yeah. But so what it does is it's supposed to help boost videos of smaller creators better. So helping get into like the recommended feed. And there's also a new hype tab since we lost trending.
There
we
it
now
is.
have the hype tab. So it's basically like mini trending, I guess, but user generated now instead of YouTube generated.
Okay.
And really quick, the way you do it is, I think it's really hard to find for one. If you're on mobile and you go into the app, when you scroll under your video where the comment section is, if you swipe the comments to the left, which I never knew you could do, there's the hype button. It will also pop up if you click the like button, and then it will auto swap to show the hyping. You can do it 3 times a week. When you do that, the video gets points. I don't know how points really, I guess the only way is it looks at points, and then in the leaderboard in the hype page, then those points are,
Tallied up.
how you get to the top tallied up. It is different because if you hype a video with less subscribers in that range, they will get more points. So when I tested it, hyping Waveform gave it 50 points. I hyped a video from a channel that had like 13,000 subscribers, and it got like 1,200 points.
Oh, wow.
Apparently, you can get up to 7,500 points in one hype for like a 500 sub channel. But obviously, 400,000 people hyping 50 points on a video is gonna, that's how to counteract it.
Right. That makes sense.
And yeah, videos need to be less than 7 days old. You can get a badge if you are the biggest hyper of the month.
Hype beast?
If you're the hype beast of the month, it's monthly based. And you can hype the same video all 3 times.
Okay.
That's what I saw. But
Interesting.
Hype beast. of
yeah,
the month.
we'll see how much this helps. I'm all for helping smaller creators.
Like Waveform.
Like Waveform, small creator.
This is how I found out we didn't have 500,000 subscribers.
We're almost there, actually.
Our views are
477.
killer for our subscriber count. But if you want to hype us, that's cool. But probably go hype some smaller channels. They could use it way more. You can also pay for hypes. Apparently, you could just pay. You can type in how many points you want to give them, and it'll give you how much you want
So
to
you
pay
can just
or
game
something.
It all seemed very organic until this moment. Where you say,
Well, yeah, but YouTube would love for you to game it because at best you might get in recommended, and
yeah.
either way you pay Google money. So why
true.
wouldn't they love this? It'd probably be more, instead of buying hype, see if that channel has like a Patreon or a donation page, because that would help them way more probably.
And most of the money goes to them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, that's the hype feature.
Okay. Who you guys going to hype this week?
Waveform.
I'm hyping us. I'm definitely hyping us.
I like that.
Then I'll be a hype beast.
Hey.
Well, speaking of YouTube features, there's only one more place to go on the Waveform podcast this week, and that's trivia.
Guys, question number 1. Hasselblad cameras were founded in Gothenburg, Sweden. I spelled Sweden wrong in the sheet. That's really funny.
Wow.
That's how did I even do that?
More like
Gothenburg,
Sweden.
Sweden in 1841. What is the farthest away place from Gothenburg that a Hasselblad camera has ever taken a picture? And I'll give you a hint.
Our studio.
No hint.
This is no hint.
I feel like his hint was going to be, it's not the
You can
thing
do it
you're
if you
all
want.
writing down right now.
You can do it if you want. Give him a hint.
This is not a geography question.
Dang it.
That's a really good hint.
That's a
That
great
is a
hint.
really good hint.
Fantastic hint, Ellis.
Yeah.
That's okay. I'm glad.
Is that what you wrote originally?
Yeah.
Oh, you just screwed David real hard. Because I know, did you write Antarctica?
I wrote Antarctica. Yeah.
You guys both wrote Antarctica and then changed it. I'm sorry, David.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's the
Okay,
rising
wait, that was
blue,
for me.
the blue marble on the moon.
It's
The
okay.
answer is the moon. Damn it, I thought that question was
It's a-
really good.
no,
and then
it's
I
okay.
sold it out.
It's okay.
Stupid.
It's all right.
Can I borrow your red pen? This green one is just very hard to read.
I knew it. Yeah. Okay.
Guys, question number 2. Price is Right rules, but with time instead of money. And money and time, money is time is money and money is...
Time is right.
I'm so hungry. Guys, YouTube hype. No. YouTube hype we talked about. The quiz question is about YouTube annotations. I'm specifically wondering, in what year did YouTube wipe annotations off of every video that had ever been uploaded? Can't believe I ruined my own stupid question. Stupid hit. I should have.
It's okay.
I thought the question originally was going to be like, what's the farthest away a Hasselblad's ever been like built? And I thought it was going to be like 0 miles. They've only ever been built in wherever, Sweden.
Also in the Waveform trivia doc, Adam said with my moon question, he goes, "LOL, nice, good wording," and then I just responded, "I love you."
And now you can respond, I screwed it up.
I sold.
All right, what do we got? All right.
Oh.
Marques and I are the same person.
All right, so Marques and David, you both put
2015.
all right, which is not over.
Good.
However, Andrew, you put
2018.
which is not right either, but it's still under, which means
Well, I was going to write
Andrew,
2020.
That would have been over. And you would
Okay,
have gotten
I
it.
was close.
Nice.
I took my
The
second
answer
shot.
is January of 2019.
Wow.
Wow.
I
That's a
remember
long
there was
time.
still someone I worked here, so I went off of that.
Oh, that's good. Wow. Yeah, I was thinking like by the time I left college, they must have got rid of it, but
Yeah.
I guess not.
I was thinking by
No,
the time
there's still
Marques left college, they
It
must
was
have
by the time I was about to leave college, basically.
All right, you know what that means. With our score update, Marques in second place
Carrying the.
with 2 points.
Oh.
David also in second place with 2 points.
All right. Not bad.
And Andrew carrying the one in first place with 3 points. No,
Hey, you made us cut it when I said that.
I'm cutting that. No, that's getting bleeped. Don't worry. Guys, Waveform is produced by Adam Molina, Ellis Robin, and today, Miles Somerville, who we never really addressed being here.
No, we did. After not addressing him multiple
Real quick.
times.
Yeah, whatever.
I like it better that way.
Waveform is also part of the Vox Media Podcast Network, and our intro outro music is made by Vane.
Still.
I like the person honking in the background.
Sill.
Bane Hong Kong still.
Hong Kong.
Still!
Bingo. Can you do the bingo sound?